and then they banned me from the vet. Anyway, so yes, welcome to the Not Much podcast. You might as well leave now because there's not much coming. All right. All right, so I guess we might as well address the virus in the room. The coronavirus. So no need to worry.
No.
Me and Isaac aren't sitting next to each other. We're at our own homes.
Thank God.
In our own self-isolation. Which would be
not that we've got it.
Yes,
we should quite. Just because we're in self-isolation doesn't mean we're sick in any way.
Yeah, we're fine.
Not in that way, anyway.
Now that we've got that covered, we don't.
Since we're all trapped inside, how about we talk about travel? Have you ever been picked out for the not-so-random bomb search?
Yeah, I feel like 90% of the time I'm getting randomly selected. And I've only flown a handful of times in my entire life. Like, I don't know, do I just look suspicious or something?
Sometimes I do feel like they sort of profile people based on race or gender.
I feel like
anyway.
I feel like they're trying to do the opposite. They're trying to make it look like they're not trying to profile people.
Really? Because, like, I mean, I've been through international before and, like, I've travelled with big groups internationally. And I feel like if there's one, like, light-skinned guy, they always get pulled up. They always get pulled up. Always.
Is this like the Australian international airports or other country?
Yeah.
Right.
Australian. But, even some places that also have, like, big white populations, like Poland, they're still...
Yeah.
But
what do I have to ironic?
You'd think they'd probably pull up anyone who looked German, let alone just not like... But anyway. But I always get pulled over for those bomb checks, and I feel like everyone who goes to the airport thinks they're the ones that always get pulled up. But
yeah, maybe you're right.
And I don't know whether I think it's because they see like a young person and they think, oh, you know.
They can be influenced easy?
Yeah, perhaps, but yeah. I feel like it's usually young people and then they do a bit of racial profiling. Also, like, at that time, I'm always slightly nervous, even though I know I don't have anything. I'm always like, oh God, but what if I do have something that I don't know about? Like a kilo of meth accidentally fell into the bag while packing.
I feel that way with, like, when you're driving and there's a police car behind you and you start going 20 k's under the speed limit.
Yeah. Have you ever had something that you're like, oh, I didn't know I had that in my bag? You've never had anything like that?
I think not really, but I do know that there was a time I remember when
I could imagine you having like a pocket knife or something that you'd forget about.
What, you could imagine me having a pocket knife?
Yeah.
You must think very low of me. You think I'm just going to just have a pocket knife in my suitcase?
I don't know.
I don't even...
Like, it might have just been, rather than the suitcase, like a bag, you know, like a backpack.
Yeah, I know what you mean, like my duffel bag thing.
Yeah.
But no, I always vigorously check things like that. Actually, I got pulled aside by security once when I was like 8 because I had one of those primary school glue sticks and scissors.
Scissors? Dear God.
They're like not even like a good actual adult pair. Like, I think like just like a small...
Like one of those ones that cut out a pattern?
Yeah, basically.
Like those zigzag scissors.
Something like that. Anyway, it was something stupid. And like glue or something like that. And they're just like, whoa, slow down there, buddy. What are you up to?
That's sort of funny.
But no, I haven't had one of those moments. Why have you?
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, the way you brought that up, I thought you had like some big story.
No, although my mum got pulled up for fruit salad once.
Sounds like the start of a border security episode. Right. Airports.
Don't buy anything there, it's way too expensive. Like, how can food that usually costs you like $10 be $20 an airport? Is it a tourist trap?
Well, obviously, yeah. I mean, I think it's not just a tourist trap, it's the whole where else are you going to go trap.
Exactly. Well, you're going to walk out of security, drive away from the airport and then get food?
No.
Something I've always learned when travelling home to Hobart, you can tell who the real Tasmanians are because they've got Krispy Kremes. Everyone who lives in Tasmania, that are coming back from anywhere on the mainland brings back Krispy Kremes.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've done it myself.
Exactly. Like we were like I said, we went away to Melbourne a few weeks ago, and literally when it was sort of sad because they did have a new donut, but that was already out. It was like a Maltesers Krispy Kreme, which I would have loved to have.
Sold out, eh?
Yep, sold out.
Oh, goddamn.
It was 1 in the afternoon, so.
That's not even that late. Like, I used to be like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Yeah, I can see, but 1 o'clock.
And there's like next to the Hobart Gate is literally a Krispy Kreme stand. Coincidentally.
Of course.
Because obviously they know.
Yeah, and they would know.
So we finished getting our Krispy Kremes and then we take 5 steps over to our gate and then there's 50 people with Krispy Kreme's bags and they're like, oh, they're from Tasmania.
They might as well just sell them on the planet.
I know, right? I'd love that. I'm just saying, if Krispy Kremes made a shop in Tasmania, they'd be rich.
Oh, yeah. Unless they open right now.
And they tempt us every time. I feel like every at least once a year, there's Krispy Kreme's coming to Tasmania. And everyone's like, oh my God, I can't wait. And then it never happens. I feel like it's some sort of marketing ploy to get us all to travel to Melbourne just to get Krispy Kremes.
I know, make that special 1.5-hour trip.
I'd do it. Only you could Uber Eats from Melbourne.
When I was up in Darwin about 2 years ago, I was at a bus terminus after having done some grocery shopping. And I went up to the bus timetable and there's this guy there who was obviously a bit lost. And he told me that he was looking for a bus to take him to the airport because his plane was leaving in an hour.
What, he hadn't already organised all this?
No, I guess not. So I eventually got on a bus. And when I got off at my stop, and this was somewhere on the main road, I saw him on the other side getting off of a different bus. But there was still about 3 kilometres to go, and I think he might have walked it. Sometimes I wonder if he made it. Well, speaking about people who don't make the plane, you've been to Sydney, have you?
Yes.
Because I remember you went there for a church thing.
Yeah, okay, yes, I've been there before.
I don't know how you got to the airport, the Sydney airport. When I went on holiday with my mum and stepdad, and I think just my sister. I don't think my brother was born.
Yeah.
Yet. Yeah. This was quite a few years ago. Yeah, we went to Sydney, where it was actually a Queensland holiday, but we went to Sydney. Anyway, when we had to get back to the airport, that was an absolute disaster. It was that bad. So we left. We already hadn't given enough leeway time, just in case anything goes wrong. And that's obviously what happened.
Here we go.
So first we get to the Sydney airport, and I'm doing air quotes here.
Yeah.
So we get to the Sydney airport and we get out of the car and we go into the building and we're just like, oh, we've got to find our gate. And we're looking around and we're just like, hang on, our gate, we couldn't find our gate anywhere in this airport. And we went up to this worker there and we're just like, where's this gate? And he's just like, oh, this is the international airport. You've got to go to the airport that's another 10 kilometres down.
How do you go to the international airport instead of the commercial? There's signs everywhere.
I got no idea, man. I was only 16 at the time. I've got no idea how they made that mistake. So yeah, and then we had to, oh my God, we had to get all our suitcases back into the car, the rental car. It was a rental car. We're driving all the way down there, and we're getting real, we're really pushing it for time. We cannot basically lose any more time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite stressful. My mum's driving, and we get to the. If you've ever been to Sydney, there's so many lanes, so many different directions, so many different,
Mm-hmm.
My mum pulls up to the airport's car park, but not the car park's entrance. It's one-way exit. It was a one-way system, so one side of the car park is the entrance, and the other side's the exit. You know what I mean?
Dear God, yes.
I can't remember what happened next, but I just remember somehow we ended up in the car park properly this time. because it was a rental car, you had to actually park it in an actual, like, you know, the rental stores car spots, official car spots, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it took us, and we just couldn't find it, so we jumped out. We, me, my stepdad and sister, we jumped out and just grabbed the suitcases and just headed for the gateway while my mum just tried to park the car.
And if she made it, she made it. If she didn't, nah.
Well, that was the thing, yeah. I mean, we got there, we got to the gate, finally got to the gate, we got in, we just got through. We were the last people through the security checks and everything.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there, like, thinking in my head, like, are we going to have to leave her behind? Because
I mean, we have her suitcase, but...
yeah, because I'm like, I ain't waiting for the next plane. Anyway, she literally came in. She finally came around the corner. And it turned out that she had, she couldn't find the car spot for the rental car, like the official spot. So she parked it in this, she just parked in this normal car spot and then went to the rental thing where you're given the key and stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
And said, oh, you know, I couldn't find the car spot, and so I just parked it, you know, over there, whatever. And the servicewoman was like, oh, no, you can't actually do that. You've got to park it in the car spot, which is over there. So she had to go back and get back into the car and then take it over to the actual car park.
Yeah. And
then go back over and give him the key.
That's your customer satisfaction guarantee right there.
Well, to make it a long story short, we made it on the plane.
Yeah, if only there were signs to say where you were. So let me think. There was one story. So I'm on a plane, on our way to Dubai, right? Set the scene.
Right.
And I was in a seat in the middle of economy, and the person in front of me, because obviously in front of you is like the back of the chair with like the screen on it, right? Right.
Oh, the TV screen sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on the seat in front of you.
Yep, yep.
The person in front of me reclined their chair the whole way and had it like that the whole flight.
Is it? Can you even still see the screen at that
No,
point?
you can't.
Oh, did you at least try to pull up? What sort of person was it? Was it an elderly?
Some woman.
Late 20s or something? What, 30s?
No, like 40s.
40s. You couldn't. I would have been tempted. I reckon I would have just ended up just going, you know, just tapping the chin. Like,
she was, because for a while she slept.
Right.
And then when she got up, she didn't pull her chair up. Like, this was like when like food came around, she'd just sit up in her chair and not bring the chair up.
That so looks like out of a sitcom.
And I, like, the whole flight, I'm like, am I meant to say something? This is like horrid etiquette. Like, I'm sitting right behind you and I can't access any entertainment for 6 hours.
I don't know, you could be so so unaware how you could be annoying someone.
I know, right?
It's very.
I feel the same way with people taking their shoes off on flights. That is disgusting.
Yeah, if you're sitting next to a stranger, yeah, that's not cool.
This isn't something you do, is it?
I don't think so. Maybe.
You've never taken your shoes off during a flight and like put them in the gap between
the chair and the ground?
Yeah.
I think I might have. It wouldn't surprise me if I have.
I can understand like children doing it, but when you're an adult doing that, I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, an adult, like a grown man, is a bit like
yeah, like taking his shoes, and it's like those people that do it at the movies.
What?
There are people that take their socks and shoes off at the movie and then like stick their feet in between the armrest of like the chair in front of them. You don't know this?
I've never seen it before. No, oh my God.
Disgusting. Anyway, earlier that day, there was a plane that had crashed on the runway in Dubai.
Oh, right. Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Fair enough.
So, like, we landed and like you could like see wreckage out the window, which isn't a good thing when you're sitting on a plane. And so that like caused like I think it was meant to be like a 6-hour delay. Right. So we'd be like staying at the airport for 6 hours.
Right, I get you, yep.
Where it would have been like usually like a 2-hour turnaround, like we're there for 2 hours, then we'd get back on the plane and then we'd take off again for our flight back home. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go through.
So we did get off, but then we got back on like half an hour later. And then we sat on the plane for 6 hours. And then they said there'd be an additional 6-hour stop there. We didn't take off for 18 hours.
What, you mean 6 hours on the plane?
Yeah.
Sitting there, with not taking off?
Yeah.
They didn't say, you're getting back off now?
No, they were like, we were just like, I think I said that wrong. It might have been like, I think it was meant to be like 2-hour stop there.
Right.
We got back on in 13 minutes and everyone was like, oh, does that mean like we're leaving early or whatever? And then 6 hours later, we're still there.
Oh my God. I can't believe they just didn't tell you to get off the plane and then just wait in the airport.
The funny story about it is like, because I was with a group, right?
Yeah.
And there were like leaders for the groups, which were like obviously adults.
What was
Even though I was, it was World Youth Day, so I was like 18.
Right.
And we were coming home.
Right, okay.
And it was a big group of like 15, maybe.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
And so there were leaders for certain groups. Anyway, one of the leaders, as soon as we got on the plane, popped a sleeping pill. Because obviously they have trouble sleeping on the plane,
right?
Whatever's. Yeah. So he took the pill and went to sleep. And when he woke up, we still hadn't gone anywhere. I love that story, especially because after that 6-hour delay, there's still a 6 or 9 hour flight to get home, and then that stops in Sydney, and then you have to get on another flight to Hobart. And as soon as I got back, I had to go to my cousin's place because his next door neighbour Diesel stole his farm equipment.
There's one thing that annoys me, which is that you gotta have the window thing open when they're landing or taking off.
Yeah, that's just so people can see if there's any obstruction on the runway or
what people?
Passengers, and then they can report it. I don't know.
If we're landing and I see laying on the runway, I think by the time I see that, it's too late. We're crashing. Does it annoy you how people start like the huge rush when like the plane lands?
I always stand back. What is with people trying to be the first off the plane?
I never get that. I never got that. And
makes no sense.
Like I don't get
it's not like they're going to get off the plane, get to their bag earlier. Like when I get off the plane, like if I was to get off the plane second to last, they're still waiting at the baggage area.
By the time they say, okay, we're going to open the doors now. Most of the planes already it's just awkwardly standing in the middle of the aisle with their luggage.
I know, sometimes the seatbelt sign isn't even off and they're all standing. And then the flight attendants say, oh, the seatbelt sign isn't off yet. And they're like, oopsie. Like, I feel like if it was possible, some people would be standing up as the plane is descending.
Probably opening the emergency exit too and just...
Yeah, jumping out, grabbing the parachute.
I know, bought their own parachute.
You thought it was my carry-on. Nah, parachute. I always feel that planes should be... Like, people should get off planes by order of the rows.
That's a good point. I never thought of that. That would make sense.
Like, it's the same reason, it's sort of the same reason business class is settled first, because they're at the front. So, like, it should be like people at the front to the back have priority going on and getting off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So business, the front businesses should go first, followed by the next businesses and so on. And then the first row of economy should get off. And it would just flow rather than people like from the back row running to the front row in 5 seconds after the plane lands.
I can sort of get with getting off the plane. I get they probably just don't want to have to control that. Like they don't want to have to, you know, what's the word? Enforce that sort of thing. It's just like, oh, screw it, not our problem.
If someone gets trampled, yeah, and then that's as far as they care.
Another weird thing too is like about coming back home is it's like yeah, you can't help but have that feeling of like, oh man, I bet so much has happened while I'm gone. But really, you know that like nothing's happened. Nothing's really happened.
Nothing at all. Any advice to finish off?
Don't fly Jetstar.
That's pretty well established.
What were you thinking?
Not much.